What's up, techies? This is J.R. Aguda, the Instructional Technology Coordinator for Green Dot Public Schools, and this is a quick webinar on how we've organized our wiki and our tech curriculum cadre. Um, so this year, our three goals in our TLF meetings are to, number one, curate and develop curriculum resources for Green Dot Tech standards, which we've created our standards over the last couple of years. Number two, to integrate with Common Core performance assessments. And number three, develop cross-curricular technology embedded activities and assessments that foster collaboration across the disciplines. And so to organize ourselves, we are going to make use of a wiki using wiki spaces. So you should all have logins to the wiki. This is going to do this tutorial. This webinar is just going to basically show you how it's organized. Our wiki is going to be organized. It's going to act kind of like a website and also kind of like a wiki in that the entry front area will be links that people can click on and will act basically like a website. I'm not going to show you screenshots because obviously all of us are still developing the wiki. So the look and feel will be up to us over the course of the year to complete it. But it's definitely in the beginning is gonna, or at the main entry point will be a website. And then as we build our lesson repository and start adding articles to it, it will become a wiki. But before we start to explain how it's organized, some vocab for our wiki spaces. If you're really unfamiliar with how a wiki works, these are some basic terms that you might need to know to understand. So an article is basically a page on a wiki that has information. So if I went to Wikipedia and typed in space shuttle, I would pull up the article for the space shuttle. A stub is basically an article that is not yet complete. So when we start building our articles, our lesson plans, and different resources that we're going to place onto the wiki, they will likely be stubs until we complete them or until we have enough information in there for them to be a true article. An orphaned article is basically an article that has no links to it or from it, and so therefore there's no real way to get to the article at all. So when we first create an article, since we have no links to it, it's definitely going to be an orphaned article. If we don't add links to it, there's no way to get to it. And so we want to create articles, but we want to prevent them from being orphaned by creating links, and that would be the next word. The link is basically how we connect our pages together. It's the standard for all of is how the website is how the World Wide Web is connected through hyperlinks, and is also the main navigation through a wiki. You basically click on a word in a link, and it will take you to another page. An anchor is a link inside of a page. So if I can link directly to one page. Let's say I click on the word standard, and I click on the word standard 1, and it takes me to the standard 1 page. But I would like to link specifically to benchmark A of standard 1. And benchmark A is not an entire page in and of itself. It's actually embedded inside of standard 3. And so I use anchors to link directly to that particular page and that particular portion of that page. A tag helps us to organize our pages and our articles so that they go into the correct headings. Okay, with that, let's explain how our wiki works. So on the top, it'll act very much like a website where we have basically a home page, and then we have our various important things like our standards, and then our lessons, and then our tools. So those three things are key to developing a lesson plan. We need our standards, we need lessons or activities, and then we need the tools, the technology that's behind it. Also, we're going to want to integrate it into the Common Core, so that should be a page as well. And then for us, because we're all working on this together, we need some place to kind of put all of our thoughts together and any activities or things we learn internally for all of us. So we're going to call it our TLF days. So we're going to link all those up, and basically we have it looks like a basic website. So if I go to the home page, I can actually click and connect to the standards page. I can actually do the same thing, and from the home page I can click to the lessons page. From the lessons page I can also click to the tools, or sorry, from the home page I can click to the tools page, etc., just like how you would normally organize your navigation for your website. Now, under standards, we also have articles within the standards. So if I click on the standards, I can view every one of our standards. And there's 5 standards of our Green Dot standards. And then if I click on lessons, then I'll have a repository of a bunch of articles. That's what the blue circles are, articles. A bunch of articles. I'm only showing 5 here, but let's say we have 100 articles when we complete this at the end of this year. We have 100 lessons. So under the lessons tab, we're going to tag these as articles, and then these are going to be connected with lessons. Then we also have all of our tools. And for example, one of our tools might be Live at EDU, one of them might be Typing Web, one of them might be Screencasting, etc. And then as we continue to work and we learn a little bit more about the Common Core, we might also have all of our Common Core articles here as well. So this is the basic organization, website organization of our wiki space. But the magic comes in, the actual wiki part comes in when we start to make connections between our standards, our lessons, and our tools. So let's take a look at this example. Let's say, for example, I create, let me grab this tool here. Let's say, for example, my lesson A is going to be my ruler drop activity, which is basically using Microsoft Excel to generate graphs. Well, I know that this lesson is going to be tied to Standard 3, which includes some of our standards for Excel. So I'm going to have a link to that somewhere in the lesson plan. So when I visit this and it shows me the lesson plan, I can click directly on Standard 3 and it'll take me to the actual page or the article with Standard 3. I also know that my activity is going to make use of Microsoft Live at EDU. So I'm also going to make that connection to Live at EDU right here. So again, as I visit this page, I can click and see that one of the required applications is Live at EDU. Not only does it use Live at EDU, it also is going to make use of asking them to make a screencast of how they got to their answer. So that's also connected. Let's say this activity is also associated with doing some research online on the average speeds of reactions of catching other things. So we know that's Standard 5 as well. And then let's also say that this lesson is also connected to one of the Common Core standards, Standard 2, for example. And as you can see here, we're making all these connections, and this is what makes the wiki. So if I go into the lesson A, I can basically go and refer to the standards that it's referring to. I can also click and link to the various tools I use. I can also click and link to the Common Core alignment. So if we make all these connections on our wiki pages and we have various connections, then we can enter into our wiki space in various places and be connected to any one of these things. So for example, I could go in and say, I don't really have a lesson in mind, but I do want to use Live at EDU for sure. So I can come into the wiki space and click on the tool Live at EDU and see the connections it has. So I can click here and then I go, oh, look, there is a link back to a lesson that includes Live at EDU. That's lesson B. And Live is connected to lesson B, which is also connected to standards 4 and 5. That's cool. So now I know what this tool can do. I can also come in standards. I might not have a tool in mind, but I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how to develop a lesson surrounding, let's say, surrounding research. So if I go in here, I can click in here and see where they're connected to specific lessons as well as the tools that we're going to use in those lessons and how it's aligned to the Common Core. So as we build this wiki together, we'll be creating all these connections so that when next year, when we come into a new year, we can have this repository of all linked stuff. So what do we need from you? We need the following. We need lessons and activity articles and tools and resources articles. So this is our need over the course of the year. So as you come up with a new lesson or a new activity or a new idea, we would like you to create the article. In PD, we're going to show you how to tag, or I'm going to make a video on this. We're going to show you how to tag these so that they appear in the correct place and that they are all linked perfectly. Once again, my name is Jay Raguda, Instructional Technology Coordinator for Green Dot Public Schools, and this is how we've organized our wiki.